A few years ago, before everyone and their mother had a podcast, hey, we're cool. We like having podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Professional wrestler, if I can truly call him that, parenthetically it says, Colt Cabana started the Art of Wrestling podcast. Like many, I'd never heard of him until word of the podcast made its way around the internet, and I wasn't a fan of ROH back then, and not really one currently. I know there were all the problems you had with Steen, Generico, and other guys who wanted to do hot spots. I meant maybe he means high spots.
High spots. Yeah, hot spots. Yeah.
And not sell or protect the business. Personally, I think Cabana does a lot to kill the business in the persona of a professional wrestler. On a recent episode, he and Cliff Compton talked about ways to make money as a pro wrestler, which included Cabana accepting bookings at parties and Compton accepting a booking at a bachelorette party. I find all of this to be ridiculous. Perhaps they should get a 9-to-5 job and stop bastardizing the business. Cabana says he does entertainment or comedy wrestling, yet there's nothing funny about what he does. And like many wrestlers, he has tried to branch out into stand-up comedy. Meanwhile, you guys did a live show in Charlotte and, not trying to be funny, put on a brilliant show. Now my question, what is your opinion of Colt Cabana as a wrestler, personality, and killer of wrestling? Thank you. Love the show. Drew Farmer, Manchester, UK, via Springfield, Missouri.
Well, hello, Drew. And, I could have written a majority of that letter, and here's the problem. The problem is, once again, and it's was blown up out of proportion, but there's some element of truth to it. When Colt was in Ring of Honor, the story then went around that Cornette didn't like Colt Cabana, and that's why Colt Cabana wouldn't accept their contract offer, and it was too low for him to accept, and that's why he left Ring of Honor. Here's the real story. The real story is we didn't offer Colt Cabana a fucking contract with Ring of Honor because he didn't fit the style, because of the exact thing that Drew just mentioned. We were trying to present a serious, credible, athletic, competitive picture of professional wrestling, and Colt tries to be funny all the time, and that's where my phrase came from, and I stand behind it. Funny don't draw money. Now, I could get away with being funny back in the 80s when nobody else was trying to be funny, and people still believed that I was an asshole. I was just a smart ass, and I was insulting their heroes like the Rock and Roll Express because I was a wise ass and was always knocking people. But I didn't just try to be funny for the sake of being funny. I was funny, or trying to be funny, to blister these people. Anyway, back to Colt Cabana. I don't know why that a guy that claims to want to be a professional wrestler does stand-up comedy where he makes fun of wrestling, where he does this high spots bullshit, what is that Mystery Science Theater 3000 type of shit where they $5
wrestling, yeah.
Where they make fun of wrestling. We used to have to, as a matter of fact, if we would book Colt Cabana against somebody serious like a Davey Richards or someone like that, we would have to make sure to tell Davey, don't let him make fucking fool out of you because you're a main event guy and he's a mid-card guy. Because that's all he wanted to do was his ha-ha shit. And even when he was selling, it seemed like he was laughing. I just didn't like his style, didn't like the presentation, didn't like the whole thing about it. Was willing to use him in different places, but certainly not on top. But when Sinclair Broadcasting bought the company and we were trying to present a serious style of wrestling, he didn't fit. So we didn't offer him a contract. We didn't offer him any type of deal. Otherwise, then, well, we'll see what happens in the future. But since you've been here for a number of years, how can we miss you if you don't go away? We stopped booking him because he didn't fit the picture. I thought he was perfect for the WWF. He's a good athlete. He does some good shit. I don't think his promos are very good, especially if he's trying to be serious. But I thought he'd be perfect for the WWF, and why they didn't keep him in developmental and why he didn't never get a shot at the main roster, I have no idea because I wasn't there, but he's perfect because he doesn't mind doing stupid, goofy shit and making fun of the wrestling business. And that's not what we were looking for, and that's not what I looked for in a talent, is people who do stupid, goofy shit and make fun of the wrestling business. And also, if you want to get booked at parties and bar mitzvahs and whatever the fuck, goddamn. At that point, realize maybe I ain't going to make it and get another kind of job, because that just once again demeans the wrestling business even further. I have taken some bookings that in hindsight I might not should have taken, but it was never to go and just appear and and make fun of the business that I was supposedly trying to be a personality or a star or an important person in. So, anyway, it's not that I dislike Colt horribly and wish to see him and his whole family die in a horrible, fiery plane crash. But no, I don't like the whole presentation of the thing. I don't like the whole silliness of the thing. I don't like him because enough people make fun of wrestling these days without the actual wrestlers making fun of fucking wrestling. And it just chaps my ass the wrong way. That's all I got to say.